Hey guys, this is my third time recording this video. Now this is going to be a little unscripted video about the Punisher films. Now, if many of you of my subscribers of my channel don't know, I love the fucking Punisher. The Punisher is one of my favorite Marvel characters. I pretty much have I have literally a suitcase full of Punisher comics. That's how much I love the character. So, what I decided to do is, I have all three adaptations of The Punisher in terms of film. I have seen a little bit of the Netflix series. I love it. I love the Netflix series. I just need to watch it. Or finish watching it anyway. Because I know Season 2 is fixing to come out and I need to catch up. But anyway, that's besides the point. So, we're going to talk about the movie adaptations. So we're going to start with the very first adaptation, which came out way back in 1989, and this is the second Marvel film based on a Marvel character, right after Howard the Duck, of course titled The Punisher. This is the Dolph Lundgren Louis Gossett Jr. version, and this movie's just not that good. I mean, even as a standard 80s action movie, it's still not good. I mean, I love action movies. I love action movies from the 80s, especially. But this one is probably one of the weakest action movies from the 80s. I mean, it came out in the late 80s, so the charm was kind of wearing out at the time, near 89, because Batman came out the same year. And it was more of a serious movie. I still consider Batman 89 an action movie, even though it's more of a comic book movie, but that's besides the point. This movie's just not a good movie in general. I mean, Dolph Lundgren, as much as I like him, his performance here is really underwhelming. I mean, he is a very bland Frank Castle, and he just doesn't play a good Punisher at all. I mean, he's more of a standard villain. Not really villain, more of a standard anti-hero. But this movie, when I saw it, I knew what I was getting into. And my expectations were lowered even more as I watched it. And I've only watched this once. So, maybe if I watch it again, I might like it. But, as of right now, it's not a good movie to me. Now we're getting on to, for people that know me, Punisher 2004. I love this movie. This movie is just fucking awesome. I mean, there are some problems like Howard Saint, the main villain of the movie, isn't really that good of a villain. But for the film, he kind of works. But the rest of the film is just great. Joan, Bumpo, Dave, Frank himself, the fucking Russian makes an appearance in this. This movie's just so good. I don't get why people shit on this movie so much. Now, if you're going to watch this movie, get the extended cut. It's a lot more of the Punisher than the theatrical cut. I do like the theatrical cut too, but this is more of a Punisher movie. This one, it's still the Punisher, but it's more of a standard revenge movie if you watch the theatrical cut. Kind of like with Daredevil, but the extended cut is a whole lot better than the theatrical version because it has the Jimmy Weeks stuff, which was missing from the theatrical version. And, spoiler, Jimmy Weeks was pretty much the reason the events of the movie happened. Pretty much, the beginning part. He's pretty much the reason why his family was killed. So I just spoiled the movie. But anyway, this movie's good. Just go out and watch it. Don't listen to all the trash talk that this movie gets. It's awesome. Just seek out the extended cut and watch it. It's just great. Now, the movie didn't do so well critically or financially, but because the sales of the DVD were so high, Lionsgate decided to consent a sequel. Now, the sequel, unfortunately, never happened. Jonathan Hensleigh and Thomas Jane left the film due to creative differences, and then Ray Stevenson got involved with the film. He was basically recast when Thomas Jane left the film, according to Wikipedia anyway. So, 4 years later, they released this abomination of a movie, Punisher Warzone. Red flag number 1. They rebooted The Punisher 4 years after they released this. Rebooting a franchise 4 years later is just ridiculous. I mean, they could have just canceled Punisher 2 and be done with it, but they just had to do a reboot. I guess they just wanted to squeeze more money out of the Punisher fans. I'm not going to go on about that. Red flag number 2. Ray Stevenson himself. He's worse than Dolph Lundgren in my opinion. Ray Stevenson, shows absolutely no emotion in this movie whatsoever, with the exception of one scene. Now, there's a scene in this movie where Frank goes to visit his family's grave, and he flashes back to the day they died, and he just shows so much emotion in that one little scene. That is the only good performance that Ray Stevenson gets in this movie. The rest of the movie is just him either looking pissed off or just showing zero emotion. Thomas Jane showed emotion in this movie. In this one. Ray Stevenson, in this movie, showed no emotion except for one little scene. That, in terms of The Punisher, that is unfucking acceptable. Red flag number 3. Jigsaw and Looney Bin fucking Jim. Their scenes are the worst part of this movie. Jigsaw is a bland villain. Looney Bin Jim is... I can't even go on about Looney Bin Jim without just screaming at the camera for like 25 minutes, which I'm not going to do. They're the worst parts of this movie. Easily. Red flag number 4. Colin Salmon. He is probably the worst side character in this movie. All he does is scream at people. That's literally all he does throughout this movie. And the final red flag, the violence. Now, I know the Punisher comics are violent, especially the later ones. But those are comic books. This is a movie. You don't do over-the-top comic book violence in a movie. It does not translate well. At all. Enough of that piece of shit. So, anyways, that was my little rambling about the Punisher adaptations. Hopefully this video was somewhat entertaining. I'm sorry that it wasn't scripted and I gave very vague reasons about why I hate this fucking movie. But it's the best I could do. But I know I could have scripted this and all that, but I wanted this to be more off-the-cuff video. So, thanks for watching, and I hope I'll see you guys in the next video.